Howdy, my name is Jacob Kelling, and I'm here with United Ag and Turf in the lovely and muddy Taylor, Texas, to give you a walk-around tour of the John Deere 30P. Before we get started, I want to give you a little bit of daily inspiration from Psalm 143, verse 10. Teach me to do your will, for you are my God. May your gracious spirit lead me forward on a firm footing. And now let's look at the 30P. So for the 2024 model year, John Deere has released a new tier system for its construction equipment with the G, P, and X tier for their low, mid, and high spec machines. This right here is obviously a P tier, and this P tier is very closely related to the previous G tier. So the 30G and the 30P are basically the exact same machine. So whatever I say about the 30P here can be related back to the 30G. So keep that in mind whenever I'm walking through this. So let's look at some of the specs of this machine. So the John Deere 30P is one of two machines that I would consider to be mid-size in John Deere's Mini X lineup, with the other one being the 35P, which I will have a video on shortly. But this is the first unit that you can get with a cab and AC. So I've previously done a video on the 26P. Go ahead and check that out if you're wanting some information on it. But on that model, you can get a cab, but no AC, it's just cab and heat. So this is the first one that you can get with a cab and AC, so keep that in mind if that's something that's important to you. But specs-wise on this machine, with this setup, you can reach out 16 foot 1 inches, you can dig down to a depth of 9 foot 2 inches, you can reach up and dump at a height of 10 foot 6 inches for the open station, and 9 foot 11 inches for the cab, so there is a little bit of difference there. Giving all this life is a 3-cylinder Yanmar diesel engine with 23 horsepower, mated to an 11.1 gallon fuel tank. These units weigh in at 6,850 pounds for the open station and 7,220 pounds for the cab. And backing all of that up is a 2-year, 2,000 hour comprehensive warranty. Now, let's do it front to back on the John Deere 30P. So before we get started, I want to show you the serial number location on this machine. If you look where the arm meets the frame right here, you're going to see a nice little plate. It's going to have your model and serial number etched into it, and for whatever reason that's missing, if you look right above it here in the metal, it's going to be etched into the metal itself, so you'll always have it with you. That's a nice thing to have if you're ever going to a dealership, so we can get you the parts and accessories for your specific machine. Starting out on the end of the arm here, we have a wedge block style mounting system for buckets and other attachments. If we work our way back, and actually on the inside of the arm, we have our hydraulic thumb mount already put in place, so if you're wanting a hydraulic thumb, it's already there and it makes installation so much easier. Moving back, we have some metal plating covering the tilt cylinder. And if you look just to the side of it, we have a light on the arm as well as a light on the cab, which is going to help out in low light operations. Moving our way down, we have our standard hydraulic backfill blade with tie-down points on either side of it there. And while I'm talking about tie-down points, there are 5 places on this machine where you can tie down. One on either side of the blade, one on either side of the tracks, and then one in the very back on the undercarriage of the machine. It's really nice. Make sure that your load is nice and secure when you're transporting it around. Making our way around to the side of the machine, we have a lockable cover here. To unlock it, you just take your key, insert it, twist it, and then you can push this button and open it up, and it's going to latch into place right back here. So under this cover, we have our diesel fuel fill, as well as our hydraulic tank, our hydraulic fill, and our hydraulic filter underneath here. So close it up. All I'm going to do is raise up, push that latch back, you can lower it back down, and then if you want to, you can lock it back. And then right below this tank here, there's going to be a hydraulic sight glass, so you can keep track of your fluid levels really, really easily. Moving around the side of the machine, we have another lockable cover here. To get this unlocked, it's the same way. You take your key, you insert it, and you can open it up, and it's going to hold itself open with a little latch down there. With this compartment open, we have access to our coolant overflow, as well as our radiators, our battery, and our fuel water separator. So to close this up, pick up on this, close it right back up there, and then you can lock it up if you want to. Finally, coming around to the back of the machine, we have our lockable engine cover here. Same way to unlock it as the first two. Take your key, insert it, twist it around, and then you can pick up on it. It's going to latch itself up into place like that. With this open, we have access to our 3-cylinder Yanmar diesel engine, as well as our primary fuel filter, our air filter, our oil filter, our dipstick, and our oil fill. And to close this up, all you got to do is pick up on this, push on this little piece of metal, and it's gonna come right down. And if you ever have questions on service intervals or what you need for this machine, if you look right above it here, you're gonna have our periodic maintenance reminder, which is a fantastic thing that John Deere has included on these machines. So, moving on to the operator station of this machine, we're actually gonna start on the outside with this little cover right here. Behind that is our 1- or 2-way hydraulic valve for your thumbs or hammers or whatever other hydraulics you have on this machine implement-wise. Just make sure that you put it in the right configuration there. Moving on to the actual inside of the cab, we have our vinyl spring suspension seat. You can adjust the spring tension with this little knob right here. And you also have forward and backwards adjustability, so you can make sure that you're seated in the correct operator's position. Just below that, behind this panel, we can open that up, and that is going to show us our excavator or backhoe controls. So down is excavator, up is backhoe. I'm gonna put that back down in excavator. And that is what determines what your joystick pattern is. To the left of that, my left, we have our fuse panel. And right above our fuse panel, we have a 12-volt outlet. So, a new thing that we get on these 30Ps on up is a multifunction screen. So on that multifunction screen, you can see your fuel, you can see your hours on the machine, you can see your engine temperature. You can also see diagnostics and other information about this machine. It's a really nice screen to have. Right next to that, we have our travel beeper cancellation switch. So if you're moving along and you don't want to drive yourself crazy with that beeping, you just hit that switch, it's going to cancel it. Moving on back, right here next to our joystick, we have our throttle, as well as our light switch and our 2-speed switch between rabbit and turtle. So you have 2 speeds on this machine. And behind all that, we have our ignition switch. If you ever get confused on the operation of this machine or what things do, take a quick look around and you can actually see that John Deere has put stickers in a lot of places that show you how to run this machine. So before you start digging into your owner's manual, take a quick glance around and more than likely you'll find the answer to your question. So with the walk around done, I've got my camera on my head, scraped the mud off my boots, and I'll show you how to operate this machine. So we're gonna climb up here and take our seat. First thing that we're gonna do is put our key in the ignition, click it over once, and it's gonna get the electronics started. So, in order to start this machine, this arm has to be up. If it's down, turn that key as much as you want, it is not going to start. So, arm has to be up. Now we can look over here, turn the key, and start the machine up. Now that the machine is started, with this arm up, I can move the controls, I can do a lot of things. Nothing is going to work until I put this arm down. With this arm down, I can reach over here, buckle up my seatbelt. There we go. So, first thing that we're going to look at is the joystick controls here. So we have our right joystick. You push this one forward and bring it back. That's going to operate the tilt of the machine. And then left and right is going to operate your bucket curl. The left joystick here, you bring it forward and back, that's going to operate the curl of the machine. And then if you bring it left and right, it's going to swivel the machine around. And last arm control here is down here by our feet actually. It's this little pedal. You push it left or right, and it's going to allow you to pivot your arm. So if you're trying to get in some tight spaces, you can pivot pretty far and it'll allow you to squeeze in there and get what you need to get. So now for the movement of the machine, first thing that I'm going to want to do is raise up my front hydraulic blade, which is this control right here. You just pull this back. And now that's up off the ground and I'm able to move it. So I'm going to increase the throttle. And I'm going to show you how to operate it. So you have your 2 joysticks right here. This also has automatic power down, so it's like an energy saver mode. I forgot to mention that earlier. So the second I start using it, if I go like that, it'll rev back up. But if you're not using it, then it will power down to save on some energy, like that. So First thing I'm gonna do is move it forward. So to move it forward, I'm gonna take my joysticks here and push them forward. And then to move it backward, I can pull them back. And you hear that beeper going on right there. To cancel that, I'm gonna go forward here, just push that, and it's gonna stop beeping, which is really nice if you are moving along the job site there. It's not gonna keep beeping at you. But every time you stop and start, you gotta push it again. Now, to turn the machine to the right, I can push my left joystick forward, or I can bring my right joystick back, and I'll turn to the right. To turn to the left, I can push my right joystick forward, or I can bring my left one back. Or really any combination of those joystick movements can get you whichever way you want to turn. And like I said earlier, this is a 2-speed machine, so I'm going to hit this button here up to rabbit. You can see it hit rabbit right there as well. And there actually is a nice little speed difference. So there's forward all the way with the rabbit. If we go backward all the way with the rabbit, and then we'll face that versus the non-rabbit, you can tell there is a speed difference here, which is super, super nice if you're wanting to go, again, across your job site there. Finally, we're going to turn towards the camera here so I can show you the lights. So there we go, I think that's good. We're gonna lower this arm down and then flick on our lights right there so you can see the work lights on the arm and on the cab right there. Finally, before I forget, talking about transportation right here, we have some foot flaps so you can operate with your feet while you're moving around. So if you're trying to work and do your joystick controls at the same time, you can just use your feet, go back and forth, do whatever you need to with your joysticks there, and it'll work just fine. It's also nice so you're not having to bend over forward the whole time and use your arms there. So you have your foot joystick controls right there. Okay, so to shut the machine off, pick up on your brake here, look over here, turn it off, and you can unbuckle. And now we can climb off. So turn around and face the machine here. We have a couple grab points. You can step down like that, and you're done. And with that, the walk around of our John Deere 30P has come to a close. I hope that you have found this video enjoyable and informative. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section down below, or you can reach out to me on my Facebook, which I have linked in the description. I want to thank United Ag and Turf here in Taylor, Texas for allowing me to come out and get their machine muddy and do this walk around for y'all. Great group of people out here. Do not hesitate to reach out to them for part, service, or sales support. Speaking of sales, if you're looking for pricing and availability on these machines, you can reach out to me on my Facebook, or you can reach out to any of the United Ag and Turf dealerships around you. My name is Jacob Kelling, and I hope that you have a blessed day.